Another episode of the ZTV Sports Report, your home for all things Akron Zips athletics. I'm Nico Weathers, and along with me, my co-host, Michael Matthews.
Yes, and it is an absolute pleasure to be back here on the ZTV Sports Report. We have some interesting topics to cover, just like, our men's soccer team having a very, very easy win over Cleveland State, as well as some top 10 plays and the firing of Tom Arth.
Well, stay right here because the ZTV Sports Report starts now.
I probably agree.
Welcome back. The men's soccer team this season have been putting on a tear, beating top teams, draws, all the normal stuff, Michael. Yeah. What are your thoughts on the men's soccer team this season?
We're going to get into the, final standings a little bit later in the show, but the men's soccer team has been very, very impressive to start the season, but they cooled off kind of quick. But this Cleveland State game turned it around.
No, they definitely exceeded my expectations because losing David Egbo to the draft, ninth pick in the draft, I really wasn't expecting him to have this type of run.
Right.
But like I said, exceeded my expectations.
Absolutely.
So here's Max with the package.
Thanks, Nico. On October 26th, the Zips men's soccer team, with a record of 8-3-3, took on the 9-5-0 Cleveland State Vikings in a home matchup. Let's get right into the action. The Zips' first chance at the game is going to come by way of Malik Henry. However, an awkward angle is going to prevent him from getting any power on the shot, and it'll be an easy save for Cleveland State's Omid Naimi. 6 minutes later, Zips defender Jonas Buekta is going to deliver a picture-perfect cross to Jason Shukaluk in the box. Shukaluk gets ahead on it, but unfortunately sends it wide right, and it goes out for a goal kick. In the 16th minute, some wonderful team soccer from the Zips is going to lead to their first goal of the game. Kingsford puts forward a nice little through ball to Dyson Claypier, who sends the cross into Shukaluk in the box. Shukaluk's shot is going to be saved by the goalkeeper, but a lucky deflection puts Johnny Fitzgerald right there for the goal. That's Johnny's second goal of the season, and gives Akron the 1-0 lead over Cleveland State. 36 minutes in, the Zips are going to add another goal to that tally and take a 2-0 lead. Semens Brega puts forth the nice give and go to Malik Henry, who sends the ball into the box. A poor deflection from the Cleveland State defender puts the ball right at the feet of Johnny Fitzgerald, who scores his second goal of the game. If I've ever seen a shot on a tightrope before, that was it. And that'll take us to halftime. The Zips with a 2-0 lead over the Cleveland State Vikings. Despite a statistical advantage really all around, the Zips did commit 9 fouls in that first half, something that Coach Embick definitely isn't too happy about. It isn't going to take too long into the second half before the Zips score their third goal of the game. Off the corner kick, the ball is going to bounce around in the box for quite some time, with no defenders able to clear it and no Zips players able to score it. That finally changes with Carlo Rotaccio squeaking it in for his first goal of the year. Closing in on the final third of the game, Jason Shukaluk is going to put forth a nice attempt for the Zips. He's going to put some work on the Cleveland State defender, but Omid Naimi will be there for the save. Following the attempt from Shukaluk, the Zips are going to make it 4-0 off of another goal from a corner kick. Will Jackson puts a nice head on the ball from Joseph Paulus, and although it might have been going in anyways, Ryan Kingsford was there to make sure of that, and he scores his 5th goal of the year. Keeping with that offensive pressure, Nick Scott for the Zips is going to send a wonderful cross into the box to a wide-open Jason Shukaluk. Unfortunately, a bad touch on the ball sends the shot just wide, and the Zips come away from that play empty-handed. An otherwise dominant performance for the Zips is going to include what very well may be their sloppiest play of the year. Some awful decision making along the back line leaves the ball in the danger zone for way too long. Luckily, they were able to make it out without giving up a goal. Will Myers' one and only save of the game is going to come off of a shot from Cleveland State's Andrew Nicholas. Despite the off-balance angle, Nicholas is able to get some nice heat on the ball, but not enough for it to get past Will Myers. And that will do it, as the Zips put forth a 4-0 clean sheet victory over the Cleveland State Vikings. They improved to a record of 9-3-3 with the win. Thank you for watching. I'm Max Heresy. Back to you guys.
Wow. Thanks, Max. Shout out to our Zips men's soccer team. 4-0, that's a very convincing win. And Johnny Fitzgerald, I need to give you your own individual shout out. 2 goals, just one shy of the hat trick. That's very impressive on any level. Nico, what are your thoughts?
Like I said before showing the highlights, the Zips actually exceeded all my expectations. I really wasn't expecting them to be that dominant this season. Granted, they had their mishaps, they had their draws, but they were competitive throughout the entire season. This game is Cleveland State. I expected them to win by this much, maybe 6-0.
6-0?
Just because Cleveland State's not known to be a soccer powerhouse. Since 2007, the Akron Zips have the winningest percentage in the entire NCAA. Now, like I said, 2007. So it was no different. Like, you're seeing a lot of strikes, a lot of goals scored early. We have one of the best goalkeepers in the entire nation.
Will Meyer.
Will Meyer.
Thank
you.
Like
I said, they're doing what they're supposed to do, and I'm expecting them to make a big splash come NCAA tournament time.
Absolutely.
Now it's time for us to take our first break. When we come back, we'll be showing and breaking down the top 10 plays. Stick around.
Hey guys, just found out my class is canceled. Where's everyone at?
I'm at Lock 4. Do you guys want to meet here?
I actually just left the Civic Theater. Michael, you and I can meet up if you're not still at the Hall of Fame.
Wow, Maria, you're actually hilarious. I'm actually here at Canal Park, but how about we just meet up at Highland Square or something?
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here.
Wait.
What?
I can't drive.
Why?
I'm high.
Oh.
You're watching ZTV.
And welcome back to the ZTV Sports Report, your home for all things Akron Zips athletics. Now, our Zips athletics teams have had some very exciting plays throughout the entire season. Nico, what are a few of your favorites?
Now, I'm not going to lie to you. As big as a fan I am of football, DJ Irons, since he's came here, he's brought an exciting element to the running game.
Absolutely.
So he's had a bunch of big splashes and running touchdowns, throwing the ball, deep bombs, Cato Nelson throwing deep bombs. Then you had, what's the other guy? I forgot his name.
We have DJ Cato.
Zach Gibson.
Yes.
Zach Gibson. So his bombs. We've been doing a lot this season in terms of offensive splashes. Yeah. So I'm expecting a lot of those plays to be in the top 10.
Absolutely. I think, I'm very excited for basketball season to come around. I want to see some basketball plays as well. But, we're going to have a lot of soccer as well. Let's throw it right over to Andrew for the top 10 plays right now.
Hello, ZTV Sports fans. This is Andrew Youngdahl, and we are counting down our picks for the top 10 plays of the 2021 fall sports season. We have a lot of great plays this season, so let's get right to it. Kicking things off at number 10, we have a kill by freshman Carleon Jones at the Akron vs. Kent volleyball game on October 15th. It was assisted by number 16 sophomore Faye Johnson and number 3 senior Emily Wigan. Definitely looking forward to seeing more from her next season. Next up at number 9, we have the first goal that was scored at the Akron vs. Cleveland State soccer game on October 26th. It was scored by Akron's number 15, Johnny Fitzgerald, assisted by number 9, Jason Chakaluk, and as you can see, it was a tap-in off deflection. That wasn't his only goal of that game, but we'll talk more about that later on. At number 8, we're at the Akron vs. Ohio University football game. Here we see OU's quarterback throw the ball just before getting brought down, but the pass is intercepted by Akron's number 12, Charles Amargwa, at the 33-yard line and runs it to the OU 40-yard line. He is a defensive back for the Zips football team, and this is his second interception out of 3 for this season. At number 7, we have one of the many scored goals that were from the Akron soccer team's home opener against Wright State on August 26. Here, Akron number 10, Renato Kazari, kicks the ball across the field to number 9, Jason Shakalu. He then passes it to number 16, Juan Kazuri Kamal. He shoots and he scores. That was his first goal of the season. He scored another goal for the Zips at their next game against Michigan State. Number 6 goes to quarterback DJ Irons' 38-yard pass to number 3, Michael Matheson, in the end zone for a touchdown. That was at the Akron vs. Bryant game on September 19th. The Zips would go on to win 35-14 that day. Filling up the number 5 spot, we have Dyson Clapier for his goal at the Akron vs. Penn State soccer game on October 13th. It was assisted by number 7, Diego Pacheco, and number 8, Ryan Kingsford. Dyson has scored 4 goals in total this season. For a freshman, that is impressive. Can't wait to see what else he'll bring to the team in the future. At number 4, we have another awesome play by a freshman this year. Number 9 wide receiver Kanata Mumfield catches a 45-yard pass from DJ Irons and runs it in for the touchdown at the Akron vs. OU game. He has scored 8 touchdowns total for the Zips this season. Coming at number 3, we have another one of the multiple goals that were scored at the Zips men's soccer game against Wright State. Number 19, Dyson Clapier, and 15, Johnny Fitzgerald bring the ball down the field. Dyson passed it to number 10, Renato Kazark, and he kicks it in for the goal. The Zips scored a total of 7 goals that game. At number 2, we're back at the soccer match against Cleveland State, where Johnny Fitzgerald scores another goal for the Zips that game. The Vikings try to keep the ball out of the goal area, but then Johnny takes a left-footed shot from 12 yards and makes it. Very impressive stuff. And finally, at number 1, we have an amazing one-handed catch by Kanata Mugfield in the end zone at the football match against Bryant. This was in the middle of the 4th quarter, making the score 28-14. Such an awesome play by him. And those are our top 10 plays for fall sports. For the ZTV Sports Report, this is Andrew Youngdahl.
Oh man, that was exciting. I'm not even going to lie to you, Michael. Our student section is one of the best student sections there is. I'm just so electrified right now.
Yeah.
And I did tell you, football will have most of those plays because, great job, Andrew. Because look, DJ Irons is like that.
He is.
Kanate Mumfield, one-handed catch, number 1 play. That was amazing. What are your takeaways so far from that?
You know, it was very OBJ-like. I don't know if I can say that as a Browns fan anymore, but I'll leave that alone. You know, I really liked, like you said, seeing our fans out there pack the hill at Cub Cadet Field, whether it be conference play or not. We're out there supporting our men and women's soccer team, honestly.
Yeah, it's different energy with the AK Rowdies. Man, when I tell you, going to a soccer game at this university is amazing. Yeah. And then not only that, it carries on to the footballs there. When the football team plays and they play well, it's so electrifying in the stadium. You can hear it from blocks down.
Absolutely. You know, we all talk about homecoming games. We all talk about, the Kent State game that's coming up. Those are the games you cannot miss as a fan. You have to be there.
And like I said, DJ Irons is the future, and he is the guy.
He's that guy.
Now it's time for us to take our second break. When we come back, we'll be breaking down the Tom Arth's tenure as the head football coach. Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Kyle Temis, and I'm producing a brand new season of Akron After Hours.
You know, Kyle, I want you to know, I think you're doing a great job at producing so far.
Oh, thanks, Brian.
For a child.
I just turned 20.
Yeah, maybe dog years. I gotta say, I think you're doing a great job of producing so far.
Oh, thanks, Brian.
For
a child.
I was gonna say dog.
You are loved. You are valued. You are resilient. You got this.
You're there for them. We're here for you. Find free care guides at aarp.org/caregiving.
You're watching ZTV.
And welcome back. You know, now it is the fun part of the show. A big change was made in our Zips football program. The head coach, Tom Arthur, was relieved of his duties, effective immediately. And Nico, I think you had a few things to say about that, huh?
Man. What a sad day it is. I'm not even gonna lie to you. You go from Terry Bowden to Tom Arthur. Tom Arthur's actually a great guy. I've seen the potential that he's done. Like, replacing a coach is really hard, okay? So you replace Terry Bowden, one of the most winningest coaches in Zips history, okay? And you bring in Tom Arthur, a guy who's coached on a D3 level, and you expect something quick, okay? That's all I can really say on that. You expect something quick. He's brought in recruits. It just wasn't his time yet.
Right.
Maybe he came in a little too early. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. I feel like there's only one way to find out, and we did that, and it just did not work out. And speaking of that, you discussed this a little bit further. Let's take it right over to him.
I am. I'm extremely optimistic. I really am. I can't. It's disappointing, and I know that in every one of our games up to this point, there's things that we could have done to give ourselves a better chance and to play better. But at the end of the day, I'm always coming away with something that we're doing really, really well, and I'm just waiting for us to go out there and play 4 quarters consistently, the way that I know that we're capable of playing. So I am excited. I'm excited for these guys. I'm excited for that opportunity in that moment when we do that, because it's a tough situation to be in, and it's not easy for anybody. But at the end of the day, like we've got to be more consistent, and when we get there, like we're going to be a really good football team. Community and coaches that are doing the same thing, a group of people that are giving their all to everything, that is important to Akron. So, I'd say just continue to support us the way that they have, because they've been absolutely outstanding. And there's going to be a moment, and there's going to be a time where they're extremely proud of this football program. And I encourage all those people who are our supporters to continue to support this team, to be a part of it, because it is going to happen, and it's just a matter of how quickly we can get there. But like I said, it's not something that happens easily. It's not something that you snap your fingers and it happens. It takes time, and sometimes you got to go through some adversity. Sometimes you got to go through some down times, to really learn about yourself and to really learn who you are and what you're capable of. Because this experience is going to make us better. It's going to make us stronger. It already has. There's no doubt about that. And we got too many talented people in this organization. Too many good people who care. too much about this school and about this opportunity to let it go any other way. So, it's just a matter of how quickly we can get there. But we will get there. There's no doubt in my mind on that.
Three and 24, man. That was rough. I'm not even gonna joke around about it. But it's not all his fault. That's really all I can say, Michael. Like, you come in as a new coach, you get a new regime in. It takes only 2 to 3 years to build your team to start buying in, and I guess it just wasn't his time.
I guess not. It was really tough, like you said, seeing those players sitting next to him at that press conference just hanging their head or staring off into the distance because they know their time's done. And, I guess you could say, dare I say, Tom Arth was, on the hot seat after a couple of those games.
I'm actually glad you mentioned the hot seat. We're actually going to segue into everyone's favorite segment on the show, the hot seat. You can tweet at us at ZTV Sports Report with the topics you want us to talk about. Without further ado, Michael.
Yes.
Tom Arth, let's overall rate his tenure from a scale of 1 to 10. What would you rate his tenure?
On a scale of 1 to 10, I might have to rate his tenure here a 4.
A 4?
A 4.
Why?
I don't see the reasoning behind him getting released at this point in time. I feel like you give him at least to the end of the season, maybe that's a 5, or maybe it's a 3, we'll see. But I think he had a plan finally being developed, and it just did not work out.
I think if you honestly gave him 2 more years, the team would have thrived and gelled. Really, 2 more years. He brought in a 4-star recruit quarterback. Right. It's just you were battling with a senior quarterback who had an extra year of eligibility due to, the COVID pandemic. Mm-hmm. You had a backup, Zach Gibson, who also was thriving due to his role in the injuries that did happen.
Right.
DJ Irons has to get used to the system. They did have a full offseason, but I do think overall better receivers came in. Better running backs came in. You have a better line. You consistently got better. And I think if you just gave it a little more time, it was just the loss to Ohio State that probably did it. The close win against Bryant, who was ranked 130 out of 140 in FCS schools, that also did it. That Temple game, losing our quarterback that game, and then blowing the 14-point lead to Temple. It's just all of these things just keep going against him. He's not a bad guy. It's just he didn't have time.
But when it rains, it pours, and it absolutely poured on him. I think what is really bad about him being released is you give a head coach enough time to actually have time to recruit players, actually have time to add them into the scheme. Why would you release him now instead of, at least let him finish out the season? Now you might have people, enter that transfer portal because I came here to play under Tom Arth. Why am I subject to play under this new guy when I came to fit this scheme?
And I'm not going to lie to you. Each season, it's been more and more wins. It may have not been a lot, but it's been more and more wins. You see the team playing a little better. Last season and the year before that, the first 2 years of his tenure, granted he was only here 2.5 years, but the first 2 years of his tenure, his teams were coming back from being down by so much.
Right.
Granted, most of Bowden's regime left, and it was just walk-ons and stuff on the team. And as you're starting to get your people, more and more stuff are happening in your favor. So we start seeing first half leads, which we're not accustomed to.
Never.
We start seeing second half leads too. So it's just been a bunch of those instances where you're just okay, we're playing better. I see more people in the stands because we support the football team.
Yes.
And like he said in my highlights that I covered, sooner or later, Akron fans are going to have something to cheer about in terms of Akron Zips football. And I know it's going to happen sooner than we think.
But it's not going to be him here cheering either.
And
so it almost defeats the purpose.
You go through change. Just like he said, you go through change sometimes. You go through your highs and your lows. This is just one of the Zips lows, and I do think their highs will be very soon.
Now, where do you think the Zips are, focusing as far as their next head coach? Do you feel like, are they just going to stick with their interim right now? Or do you think they try to get a guy that fits the past scheme a little better?
I'm not going to lie to you. The interim head coach right now has his team thriving in offense.
Absolutely.
They just dropped 40-something points the other game. They may have lost, but I wasn't expecting that 40 piece. They're thriving. They may look at him, but also, I don't know. They might have a different search. But Instead of talking so much time, Mark, let's talk about the Zips soccer team. They recently just lost, and it knocked them out of the playoffs. The Zips football team, or the Zips soccer team, I'm sorry.
The other football.
Yeah, other football. They completed a comeback, yes, throughout the season. They had their ups and downs, but so far, that recent loss that they had did knock them out of playoffs. What are your thoughts on the season as a whole?
You know, our first episode of ZTV Sports Report, I had the Zips going all the way. Unfortunately, that's not still a possibility, but I still feel like this is not a failure of a season. Obviously, you want the playoff victory, you want those championships, you want that recognition, that national recognition. But I think we have a good plan in place, and that's something that our actual football program does not. So I think we have, obviously, more to look forward to in men's soccer, and I think women's soccer is getting up there too. I think the soccer program here at the University of Akron is tremendous.
Like I told you, right? We have the winningest win percentage since 2007 in the whole NCAA.
Right.
I know the prestige here is crazy. We keep getting better and better players. Like, who expected Will Meyer to come out of nowhere? Last year was David Egbo.
Yeah.
This loss may knock us down briefly, but I know we're going to thrive again. Because a few years ago, we were in the Final Four.
Right.
Years before that, we won a national championship. There's nothing in the way of the men's soccer team. We've won so many games at home this season. It's just when we step on the road, we just have to get that confidence on the road to take care of it. Just like I said, there's AK Rowdies everywhere. You have AK Rowdies in Akron, and you also have AK Rowdies at Ohio State, for an example. You
Absolutely.
have Ohio Rowdies or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
So you see what I mean? Like, the prestige is definitely there, and I know they're going to thrive throughout the course of the program.
Absolutely. All they have to focus on is staying healthy. Staying healthy is a big key, and as well as just finishing those games. So many of them ended in ties. Obviously, that's what you're expecting in soccer, but it's not fun to watch your team go out there and just not know how to finish a game.
Speaking of top teams, let's transition to the men's basketball team, something I'm very excited for. The men's basketball team just recently took on the top 25 ranked Ohio State Buckeyes, and they lost a thriller, might I tell you. It was a really close one.
Down to the last shot.
Now, Michael, I know you were watching the game, so was I. What are your thoughts on the game?
I'm not going to lie to you. I was very worried about the Zips men's basketball team after losing, one of the greatest in our program history in Lauren Christian Jackson. This team shocked me, especially going up against an Ohio State team, a Final Four appearance, or not Final Four, a March Madness appearance where, they were upset pretty early, I believe round 1. So that was very disappointing, but they bounced back, got some great recruits, and we stayed with them basically the entire game. I feel like we should have won anyway, but.
I thought, what's crazy coming into this game, I'm not going to lie to you. I thought that they were going to lose.
Absolutely.
I thought it was going to be by like 20, because I saw the West Virginia game. The West Virginia game, West Virginia is way more physical than what Ohio State was.
Right.
Not saying Ohio State is any slouches or anything. They were just way more physical. The game was just so dominant. Then we all of a sudden just surprised everybody when it came to Ohio State. It just put the nail in the coffin, might I add. Ali, wasn't expecting him to score so much.
Yeah, and that 4-point play from Ali, that's big. I literally jumped out of my seat when that happened. That was one of the greatest plays I've seen in Zips basketball history.
Now, really quickly, who do you think is going to be the guy? Because I know I asked Dante when he was here. Who do you think is going to be the guy for the team?
I think when you look, you need a shooter. You always need a shooter. I believe Tribble will be that shooter, always.
I'm still rolling with Enrique Friedman, a walk-on. I love Enrique. I know he's great. The pick and roll is excellent. He added some more pounds, and I know his game is excellent.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, that'll do it for another episode of the ZTV Sports Report. Make sure you follow us at the ZTV Sports Report on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Michael, you have any closing comments for the show?
I think back to Tom Arth, and I really worry about where the organization will go. Just as a whole, I want to see our football team actually succeed.
Well, I'm Nico Weathers.
And I'm Michael Matthews.
Signing off. Go Zips.
For the victory lap, though. Whoa, they ain't never seen nothing like this before. Lit the room when I came through the front door. Ask me if I should overcome, what for? Train in the trees, please walk my sycamore. Touch burning sands, cross lands in.
This program was produced by ZTV at the University of Akron. Do you want to gain experience in video production, professional social media, or working with real clients? Visit the UA School of Communications online or follow us on social media to learn more. ZTV, make media, make a difference.
If our mic's muted, we can actually just talk. I mean,
yeah, I'm
just
sure
make it
we
look
can.
natural. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the show's over.
It was a good show.
There you go.